In September 2025, Nepal experienced something incredible, one of the biggest youth uprisings in its modern history. Thousands of young people, mostly from Gen Z, took to the streets demanding change. What began as a protest against a social media ban and corruption quickly grew into a nationwide movement that toppled the government, led to deadly clashes, and forced the Prime Minister to step down. So, how did a social media ban trigger a revolution? How many people were hurt, and what was the final outcome? Let's break down the story of Nepal's Gen Z revolution. It all started on September 8, 2025. Just days before, the Nepali government banned over 20 social media platforms, including giants like Facebook and YouTube. The official reason was that these platforms failed to follow new government rules. But for many young Nepalis, this felt like an attempt to silence criticism of politicians and widespread corruption. This ban was the final straw. For years, frustration had been boiling among the youth due to high unemployment, the rising cost of living, and a political class that seemed to flaunt its wealth while ordinary people struggled. The social media ban was the spark that ignited all that pent-up anger, using whatever online tools they could and spreading the word on the ground. Students, influencers, and activists organized massive protests. Soon, thousands gathered in Kathmandu, marching towards the parliament building. At first, the protests were peaceful. Young people held banners and chanted slogans, demanding the end of the social media ban, government accountability, and a stop to corruption. But the peace didn't last. As protesters moved closer to the federal parliament building, police moved in to block them. Clashes erupted. The authorities used tear gas, water cannons, rubber bullets, and in some tragic cases, live ammunition. Some protesters fought back, setting fire to government property. The streets of Kathmandu and other cities descended into chaos. The situation turned deadly. Official reports state that at least 76 people were killed during the protests and in the aftermath, with over 2,100 injured. The victims included protesters, police officers, and civilians caught in the crossfire. Hospitals were completely overwhelmed. The destruction was immense, with government offices, political party headquarters, and even media buildings damaged. Protesters even managed to storm and partially burn the parliament building itself. This created a massive political crisis. Just one day after the violence began, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli resigned. His resignation was followed by a series of rapid changes. The social media ban was lifted, the parliament was dissolved, and an interim government was formed. Former Chief Justice Sushila Karki was appointed as the interim prime minister to bring stability back to the nation. The new government promised compensation for the victims' families, full investigations into the violence, and new national elections. By September 13th, the protests started to wind down as the army secured key areas and political negotiations began. The movement had achieved its main goals. The government fell. The ban was removed, and new elections were on the horizon. But the cost was high. Dozens dead, thousands injured, and billions in property damage. Even today, investigations continue into who was responsible for the lethal violence. The Gen Z protest in Nepal stands as a powerful reminder of how a young generation can rise up to challenge authority and shape a nation's future. It showed the world that when pushed too far, they will demand to be heard. But it also serves as a somber lesson on how quickly peaceful demands for change can turn into a deadly conflict. For Nepal, it was the moment a new generation made the country listen. Thanks for watching. If you found this story important, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into world events.